nicely. It's also kind of jihad. Media jihad, like Al Jazeera, which spreads Islamism all over the world, and havoc and terrorism, uh, like what they do. So this is also a media jihad. Open WhatsApp group which will promote the jihad is another kind of jihad. There are arson jihad in order to destroy the infidels and build the Islamic state on the ruins of the Christians. And of course, they also have the prayer jihad. If you cannot, do economic jihad like boycotting the West or boycotting Israel, BDS, all these things, if you cannot go to fight with the sword, if you cannot set fire in a church, if you can do anything, whatever you do, you can do, you pray for the success of jihadists, whether in Palestine, whether in Iraq, or wherever they are. Pray for them. This is also part of the jihad.
So in a moment, I'll ask you about personal internal jihad, which we sometimes hear of, maybe a struggle not to assimilate with Western societies that you're part of. But I do want to jump in at this point and just ask, are you suggesting then that all Muslims in Europe, Britain, America, all immigrants have this effectively conspiracy of jihad?
Not at all. Not at all. There are many migrants from the Islamic world who, once they come to Europe, they become Europeans. They merge into the European societies and they become Europeans. For example, they would eat whatever falls on their plate. They will drink whatever is being poured into the glass. And they became European in everything, in their culture, in their food, in their clothing, in their behavior. And they have nothing against Europe. They don't come, they come to become Europeans. Nobody should have any problem with these people. They are good people because they came to be Europeans. Look, there is a good example to this. A lady, a Muslim lady in France. Her name is Rashida Dati. She was from a Moroccan family, a Muslim Moroccan family. She was born in France, and she was excellent in school. She got stipends from the government to study in high education, and she studied law, and she became a very famous lawyer in France, and everybody loved her because she was a bright lawyer, an honest lawyer, and Sarkozy, more than 20 years ago, nominated her to be the Minister of Justice. Everybody blessed this nomination because she was professional. But she was not married. She was in mid-30s of her age. And one day, everybody sees that the lady is pregnant. And she's not married. Now, according to Islam, this is adultery. And her verdict is well known. But in France, you don't look at these parts of the body. All you look is the face, that's all. All the other parts is not your business in France. You can do with your body whatever you like, with whoever you like, whenever you like, and it's nobody's business. So the Islamic community started to discuss this issue. Is she a Muslim and therefore should be punished for being pregnant without marriage? Or she's French. And as a French, that's all. You cannot talk about anything else because it's not of your business. So how to relate to this lady? As a Muslim, because she was born a Muslim, or as a French, because she's acting like a French. Okay, so this shows you that there are people who definitely become French or British or whatever, and nobody should have any problem with them, because they are integrated fully into the European society. The problems are with those who are not integrated, who preserve their culture, continue their tradition, continue their mindset, continue view the West as infidel, something which should be abolished, because, as you said, to to end the occupation, it's also occupation of France, because Christians are infidels. They don't have the right to rule. They don't have the right to a state. They should all live as dhimmis under the rule of Islam. You can read the book of Bat Yaor, Islam and Dimitude. Christians and Jews should live under the yoke of Islam and pay the jizya to the Muslims. And this is what should be in France and every other place. In Europe, the Europeans should be subjugated to Islam. Why? Because this is how the world should go, according to the Muslim Brotherhood ideas. Now, the Muslim Brotherhood is a very large array of ideas about how fast do we want to implement all these things. Means how radical we are, or we should be, in order to implement all these ideas of Islam. If you are silent, if you are, let's say, slow, it can take 100 years, you are moderate. But you dream about this, you don't do much in order to hasten this process. But if you want it now, Islamism now, you become more radical, because you have to implement these ideas by force. And here, people differ from each other on this like a big spectrum of radicalism within the Muslim Brotherhood thinking. Look, in Egypt they had a Murshid al-A'la, means the supreme guide, and then a guy named Hudaybi in the 80s. He says, we are du'at la kudat. This was the name of his book. Means we are preachers, we are not judges. Means we preach. We try to approach people. We try to convince them in a good way to come to Islam and to become more adherent to Islam. This is what we do. Very moderate. On the other side, they have Said Qutb in Egypt also, one of the Muslim Brotherhood, who says any ruler who does not implement the Sharia today deserves a jihad against him, even though his name is Muhammad, because he is the long hand of the West. Okay? So he was very radical. There were people who were even more radical. So they came out, like Gamal Islamiyah, like the jihad in Egypt, the Nagun min al-Nar, Takfir wa Hikra, all these Egyptian organizations which were much more radical, even than Said Qutb. So they came out, and they were the offshoots of the Muslim Brotherhood. Al-Qaeda is another offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood, and ISIS is an offshoot of Al-Qaeda. Means all these radical Sunni organizations came out from the school of thought of the Muslim Brotherhood. This is why the Muslim Brotherhood is so a dangerous organization, because the teachings of this organization could be implemented in a very, very radical way, like ISIS.
So it's a question of jihad now or jihad later, basically.
More or less, yes. Look, jihad, you can do it now by peaceful means, like BDS, boycott, divestment, and sanctions against Israel, for example. It could be by arson, it could be by migration, it could be by birth. You don't have to fight. You can achieve the goals of the jihad without shooting even one bullet, as Gaddafi said. It's enough if we migrate to Europe and we give children, 6, 7, 8 per woman. We'll take Europe in no time.
So how does Europe effectively fireproof itself, bulletproof itself against what you're describing? And not just Europe, America. We know, of course, that Trump is intending to outlaw the Muslim Brotherhood.
Because he knows that the Atlantic Ocean is not wide enough to keep America safe from the same problem. Actually, what you see today in America is what you saw in Europe 15 years ago. Mayor here, mayor there, parliament members, they started already 15 years ago in Europe.
So do you see Mamdani as part of that, for
Yeah,
example?
of course. Definitely. Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, he was not Jewish.
He says he wasn't Muslim.
Okay, Hussein.
You're saying that there is effectively a coordinated conspiracy of Islam, which includes and incorporates Barack Hussein Obama, Zoran Mamdani, Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London. All of these people are foot soldiers in a conquest of the West, whether they say so or think so or not.
Look, you use the word conspiracy Conspiracy has the meaning of something which is being done behind the scenes by, by all kinds of deception.